Welcome to the Focus University lesson on the student information screens. First, you will need to locate a student. The easiest way is from the portal page in the Find a Student block. You can use the search box by typing in the student's full or partial name, or even a student ID number. You can also use any of the additional search features to find the student you're looking for. Once you've typed in your search criteria, be sure that Demographics is selected in this dropdown. Then click Search. Select your student from the search results. The student's record will open to the General Demographics screen unless set otherwise in your preferences. The first thing to note is you'll see a student photo or silhouette in the upper left corner. You'll see their name, their Focus ID, and their grade level. If you click on the student's name, a general information window will open. This lists some basic information. Click the student's name again to collapse the information. Across the top are links to more student information, which we will return to in just a moment. In the right corner, you can find a specific student by typing their name and go directly to that student if you select them. You can also click Include Inactive to get inactive students in this list as well. If you make any changes on the student screen, make sure to click Save before moving on. You can print the screen by clicking the print icon. These blue navigation arrows allow you to navigate between all of the students that resulted from your last student search. You're able to scroll through the list and go to the next student or the previous student. You can continue this process until you've reached the end of your student search results. In the top right corner, if you hover over the student's name, a small pop-up window will display basic information. This information will vary based on district and can be set up under Customize List in User Preferences or System Preferences. You can always click on the student's name to return back to the General Demographics screen. The first submenu is Enrollment. The most recent enrollment will display at the top with the oldest at the bottom. You can scroll over to see more information about each enrollment record. You'll notice that only a few columns move, and you can gain more room on your screen if you click the gray arrow in the middle. This will collapse the categories on the left side of the screen. If you want to reopen those categories, you can click the gray arrow again. This just expands your screen so that you can see more of the columns at one time. Click View to view the student's enrollment record in detail for a specific year. You will only be able to view the fields that you have access to. Click Return to Enrollment to return to the student info page. You will be able to add enrollment records in this top blank row if you have profile permission. You will be able to remove enrollment records with this red minus sign if you have profile permission. You can export this to Excel or print. You can also click Filter and filter for a specific grade or school year in order to find the enrollment record you're looking for. Be sure not to get confused between adding a new enrollment record and the filters boxes. Keep in mind the filter boxes have green plus signs next to them. You can also click Toggle Columns. If there are columns on your screen that you don't ever use, you can always turn them off by clicking Toggle Columns. You can deselect the boxes that you don't take a look at, and then exit out, and you'll notice those columns are now gone. If you need to add them back, make sure you click Toggle Columns again, and then re-add all of the columns that you need. Click the X, those columns will reappear. Another option is page size. You're able to change how many rows display on the screen. If there are too many rows displaying, you can always shrink down the number of rows, and that way you can easily see your scroll bar at the bottom of the screen and then scroll over. You also have the option to scroll between different pages if there are multiple pages of enrollment records. The next submenu is Schedule. This will display the student's schedule for the selected year. You can click to print the schedule. You have the option of including the state scheduling fields. The next submenu is Requests. Any requests that have already been entered will appear on this screen. If you have a scheduling profile, this screen will look different. In the upper left corner, Requests, Alternates, Credits, and Units is information used by schedulers. You have an Export button and a Print button as well. You can filter through the requests if necessary. The next submenu is Grades. The Grades submenu will display course history and gradebook grades. The option defaults to gradebook grades. This screen will display a GPA and EOC overview at the top. Each of the students' active courses are listed with an overview of attendance in each section along with the average gradebook grade. Any text in blue is a clickable link. If you click on one of the blue grades, this will take you to the gradebook assignments for that particular class. You can click on the drop-down and go to another class, or you can click Please select a course to return back to the grade summary. If you check the boxes Show All Years, Show All Schools, Show Inactive Courses, and Group by Course, you will get the student's course history as long as you select Update. Click Print Assignment Grades to print a progress report with all grades and assignments from current classes. You can also export this to Excel or print. You can filter through all of the courses and toggle columns. To view the student's course history with state reporting fields and the ability to make changes, click the View Detailed Report button. The top of the screen shows GPA, class rank, credits earned, and EOC data. The main part of the grade screen displays a history of the student's grades with the most recent grades at the top of the screen. If you click the box next to the course record, you will get a pop-up box with the course record and all the details. You will only see fields that you have permission to view. You can scroll through this course record and then click Next to view the next course record. You can click Close when you are done. Just below the GPA box at the top is the number of grades entered for the student in course history. You can also navigate between the pages by clicking the arrows. You can export this to Excel or print. You can also turn on your filters and search for courses or grades or any other items that you need to search for within course history. If you need to search for multiple items at once, you can click the green plus sign next to the filter. If you don't want to use your filters anymore, you can either remove the filters from the boxes or turn your filters off. You also have toggle columns as you've seen before. You can deselect the options that you don't need to see and then exit out. Remember, you can always come back to toggle columns and turn those back on. If you notice you have to scroll down to see your scroll bar at the bottom, in order to change that, you can adjust the page size. You are now able to see the scroll bar at the bottom of the screen. You can now scroll through all the different columns. If you click View Grade Summary, you'll go back to the Gradebook Grades screen. Comment Codes is a legend of your district's report card comments. This pull-down will display any templates your district has created and may contain the district's template for creating an unofficial transcript. Once you've selected your template, click Print. You can also select to show or hide your state fields. This will display any state reporting fields for course history. The next submenu is Absences. The absence summary screen shows you the days the student received any attendance code other than present in any one period. To adjust the report time frame, set the date range at the top and click Go. The district attendance codes will be displayed beneath that with how many times this student received that code. Below the codes, you will see the total full days of attendance possible as well as other data. The absence summary for individual students gives the ability to review student absences displayed by period. If you hover over an attendance code in the summary, a pop-up will appear with additional information. At the bottom, you can select Print and print this screen out. If you click the arrow, you'll also have additional options to select a letterhead template to print it out on, or shrink the font to reduce the number of pages, or you can also have a print preview. You do not have to select any of those options, you can just select Print. You also have the option to select Export to Excel. Another way to view absences is through the attendance chart. If you select Attendance Chart, this will display a detailed period attendance chart with each day and the attendance code. The attendance codes are color-coded based on your district setup. If you hover over any of the attendance codes, again you get more information about who put in that attendance code and the timestamp for it. To return to the absence summary, click Summary at the top. The next submenu is Referrals. You will see a list of referrals for the student you are currently viewing. You can see this student has 3 referrals. You can scroll to the right to see more information about each of these referrals. In the upper left corner, you can see the total number of days of discipline and the number of days for the resulting action of the collective referrals. If you have permission, you can check the boxes to show referrals from all schools and all years. If minor infractions are enabled for your school, click this to include any minor infractions this student might have had into this list. You can see the total number of referrals that the student has. You can also export this to Excel or print. You can turn your filters on and filter for a specific referral. You can also utilize your toggle columns and page size options. The next submenu is Test History. From this screen, you have the ability to view all of the students' test administrations that have been loaded into Focus. If you select the gray arrow next to the test name, you will see the scores for each part of the test. You can click the gray arrow again to collapse this information. Again, you have a print button at the bottom where you're able to print all of this information. The next submenu is Grad. This is the promotion report for middle school. Notice that the program at the top displays middle school promotion. To show a high school example, remember in the top you can type in the name of a student and click Enter. This is an example of the graduation requirements report for high school. At the top of the page, you will see GPA, class rank, cohort year, and EOC assessment information. If you hover over a green check mark, it will display a pop-up with the completed and enrolled class for that subject. If you hover over a green check mark with an hourglass, it will display a pop-up that indicates the graduation requirement will be completed if the student passes the currently enrolled class. For Florida districts, you can scroll down to see the merit designation, scholar designation, or biliteracy seal. If you scroll back up to the top, you are also able to click Evaluate Other Programs. Each grad program is listed along with the student's progress for each grad requirement in the program. The program showing by default is the one assigned by year and school to the student. To return to the current program, click Return to Current Program. At the top of your screen, you might have additional submenus based on your profile permissions. To return to the student's demographic screen, you can click Demographic, or you can click on the student's name in the upper right corner. On the left side of your screen, you see a list of categories for student fields. You can click on any of these categories to view additional information. This list will vary based on district and profile permissions. You can also use the filter fields to find a specific category that you're looking for. Once you find it, you can select it. You can also remove the filter to see all of your categories again. Let's take a look at addresses and contacts. Each address is displayed in a separate block. At the bottom of each block, address icons give information about the address. If you hover over the icons, you'll know what they are. In this case, the blue star represents primary address. The orange envelope represents the mailing address. The green bus represents bus pickup, and the red bus indicates bus drop-off. You can also click the yellow icon in the upper right corner, and this will map the address through Google Maps. You can hover over any of the contacts and see more information about them. If you see any icons next to any contact, you're able to hover over them to see what the icon represents. In this case, custody, emergency contact, and pickup. We know that this contact is the aunt. There's an additional icon here that represents notes. If you hover over it, it will tell you what the note says. You can click on a contact or an address to get more information. Remember, to return to your portal screen, click the logo in the upper left corner. Notice the student you selected is still in the upper right corner of the screen. You can click the student's name to return to their student information screens, or click the X next to the student's name to close out of the student. This concludes the lesson on the student information screens.